Hey guys, we're going to do a little bit on some of the language used around guitar. And look, I can't promise to cover everything because language changes. But there's a few things that you're probably scratching your head at when you've just kicked off and going, what on earth are they talking about? So, first of all, the one that you probably first got to and went, I don't quite get what they're talking about there, but what is a riff? All right, a riff is basically a melody, and a melody is essentially one of these. Just a little set of notes, okay? All just little riffs, okay? So when they're saying on guitar, oh, I've got a riff going, it can be all sorts of things, but it's generally a melody, like a part of a song, all right? Now, that might make a little bit more sense when you look at the rhythm, all right? So your rhythm is generally some chords. I'm playing a rhythm there. Just two chords, kicking along. All right. Now, you might put a riff over that rhythm. So, all right. If you've got two guitarists, someone might be playing a rhythm, someone's pulling a little riff out, and, that's actually jamming. And jamming is fantastic, and it's certainly something you should be doing. Jamming is where you pick up so many skills that just cannot be taught. Get together with someone. If you're just starting off, find someone who's good and get them to show you what to play. And you'll just hold a rhythm for them and they'll pull out a riff. All right? But jamming is great. So that's getting together with a musician or two and actually playing. And they don't just have to be on guitar. All right? So you can jam with just about anyone. Jamming's generally pretty informal. It's not like having a proper practice. It's generally just casual, getting together, having a bit of fun. All right? So, you definitely need to get out and have a jam. All right. Some of the other things you might hear, riffs, also called licks, which is a bit of a weird one. Never quite understood why, but there you go. So a riff can be a lick. Now, you've got your rhythm, you've got riffs, which are a melody. All right. Now, your rhythm can also be called a chord progression. So getting a little bit more formal here. So my chord progression. So the chord progression there is E major and G major. So, someone goes, oh, what's that chord progression you're playing? That's what they mean. They're basically saying, what chords are you playing? Okay. When we get into playing with other musicians, there's a variety of ways to communicate that. Now, you might not pick up sheet music really quickly and won't communicate in that, but you will need to be able to write down your chord progression. Okay. With that, there'll be things like majors, minors, sevenths, and all of that you'll learn in the course here. But just be aware that you will write down those chords as a chord progression. Cool. Now, the other thing that we do on guitar is lead. All right, so lead guitar is generally where someone plays the riffs and solo. And rhythm guitar plays the chord progressions, maybe a bit of the riff. So your lead guitar, when they do a solo, that's essentially where they're not repeating a riff. So it's all right, goes for a bit of a length of time. It's not just short. Solos can go for ages if you want. But they're not something that gets repeated again throughout the song. Now, you can have a couple of ways you do this. One, you can write a solo, and that's a very formal way, and I'd certainly suggest doing that if you're going to record. But the other way is to improvise a solo, and that is super fun. So what I played there, it's actually a little combination of the two. There's some riffs in there that I've actually strung together, and I practiced those riffs, but I didn't really know what I was going to play. I just let it come out, and that's the improvisation part. So when you get to a point where you've practiced so much, and you know a scale so well, that you are playing just on the spot, you're not thinking about what you're doing, that's really improvising a solo. And it's great. It's a real skill, and it's something you want to work towards if you're going to be a solo musician, as in a lead guitarist. And you do want to actually have some real skill shining through. All right. So that probably gives us enough to work with. So you've got your jamming, you've got your riffs, you've got chord progressions, rhythm, you've got your lead. And look, I think that gives you a basis of some of the language that really stands out in guitar. Now, there is plenty more, but I think we'll leave it there, and I'll see you next time.